Hello, back. I was actually interrupted my cell phone after actually it turned off, and I have to finish that part which is left on page 7, where there were three kinds of dices. We talked about place dices, we talked about the person dices, and there's another one which I actually don't see it around here are time dices. Time dices talks about today, now, tomorrow, next week, etc. The now, etc. These are time dices. Okay, so there are three types of dices. The next, yes, yes, it is actually you can find it line below the conversation, which is time dices, is expressions used to point to a time, as in next day, then, and now. I just found it. It is on page 8, about, I suppose, line 8. Okay, page 8, line 8. Okay, next day, now look, the picture shows. Okay, next day is an example of time dices. The last thing that I'm gonna talk about is intertextuality, which is again a kind of referent. So we talked about exaphora, endophora. We are going to talk about exaphora, endophora later on, okay? And we talked about deixis. This is the third thing we are going to talk about, intertextuality. What does it mean? Intertextuality, it means there's one text here and another text there, and there's a kind of reference from this text to the previous text, or from that text to the other text. Okay, this is an example of intertextuality. What does it mean? Once more, referring to another text. Okay, so if you actually go back to page 8, we are still on page 8, line 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you say, that was great, that was great. It is intertextuality. What does it mean? She says something and you refer to back to that kind of thing. So I'm going to read it line by line from finally. Let us see. Finally, when a referring item refers to entities in the background knowledge, whether cultural or interpersonal, that have obviously been mentioned in a previous conversation or a text, or have occurred in a previously shared situation or activity, we call this intertextuality. So one thing is important: previous activity. Previous, well, the word previous activity, previous, let's say, knowledge, previous text, etc. So this is an example of intertextuality. Okay. So in the telephone call about the Olympic medal, the word that was great is an example of intertextuality. Why? Suppose that there's a kind of conversation. You remember the conversation maybe? It refers, the person comes back home and talks about that he or she has actually received something like a medal in the Olympics. Okay? Mother, father, a friend, anybody else at home could come say, that was great. It means that you get something like this. You received a medal from the Olympics. Okay? The Olympic event. And that was great. So that is intertextuality. What does it mean? That is in this text. It refers to another background knowledge about another event that you and the listener knows. So this is an example of like this. Now I'm just going to finish it. What time is it? It is about we are on the 6 minute, and I suppose we are going to be finished in less than 1 minute. Well, 5 lines to the bottom before actually co-text begins. We talk about intertextuality again once more. Here, line 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make sure, yes, intertextuality is more often interpersonal than cultural. It means it happens between two guys. You talk about the Olympic game, Olympic event, and you said that you received a special kind of medal, and I know something about it. We both of us know it. Two people know it. Okay, so it is interpersonal, not cultural. Cultural means everybody. Okay, so since it usually refers to knowledge gained in previous conversation between the people who are talking, okay? And the common ground is the result of penetrating biographies of the participants. I'm just done. Well, you actually can read it. And yes, I'm done with this part. I just stop. The next part is co-text on page 8. Thank you very much.